out. Anthony Sims, what it do, champ?
What's going on, man?
How are you? Do you got any headphones so we don't get any feedback? Because we're certainly getting some.
You got some headphones in here? Let me
In the
see.
meantime, in between time, what's going on, champ? I know that you got some things
What
you want
up?
to get off your chest.
What up,
Oh,
Anthony?
absolutely. What's going on, man? How you doing, brother?
Chilling, chilling.
You're not supposed to hop on with you yesterday, but things happen, man. Things
Yeah,
happen.
I don't know. We'll do another time.
It's all good. My wife is running upstairs to get some headphones, but in the meantime, man, let's get to talking. That's
So I seen that you posted that you're being avoided.
yes.
You want to give some specifics? Let us know what exactly is going on, because you were with Matchroom once upon a time, and now you're not with
Yes.
anyone, correct?
Yes, I'm a free agent as of right now.
So
So, I
yeah,
got you. Let
fill
me
us
wait till I
in.
get these headphones. Yeah.
Nah. If I don't talk, there's no feedback.
Okay,
Until you
got
get
you.
them.
Got you. Got you. All right, where you put this in? All right. Oh yeah, they all got wireless headphones. Well, with me, I was being avoided. Here, you got this. I was being avoided because of my record and my background in boxing. I have 23 wins, 2 losses, 20 wins by knockout. There's no reason why I'm not fighting or active or in the mix with all these other light heavyweights. If I can be beat easily, throw me in the mix. I have a great record to build off of, but that's not the case. I'm high risk and low reward. So that's basically, we don't want to fight you. You have a great record, but you have too much. We have too much to risk fighting you. So that's the boat I'm in. And the boat that I'm in, many other champions have been in it, but boxing has changed. So for instance, Marvin Hagler, he didn't get his first world title fight till his 42nd fight. Avoided majority of his career. Pinkman Thomas, another dangerous left-handed heavyweight. Nobody wanted to deal with the jab. Tommy Hearns, 79 arm reach. People avoided him as long as they could. And I'm throwing out big names. These are world champions. But for me, it's
Winky
like I
right
know I have the
too.
caliber. Winky Wright, another one. And people sleep on Winky Wright because they think Winky Wright is just to stand there and go toe to toe. He's a mental strategist. He gets inside your mind and he messes with you, and then he breaks you apart. So I mean, for me, this type of style I have, I know that I can show loopholes and flaws in any fighter because of my style. I'm elusive. I'm a boxer puncher. But because of my last fight, I had my last fight a year ago, and I fought the broken kneecap. Now, you brothers know when your card is pulled, nobody gives a fuck about the excuses or reasons or whys. Either you can do it or you can't. Fighters, we got to suffer in silence. It's part of the business. So when I got this opportunity, I'm like, you know what? I can't run. I can train myself into shape and spar, but I can't run. My knee's broken. I got to go in there and try to get him out. I couldn't get him out, and I didn't have a great performance. But now it's just like that's what they're holding over my head. Your last fight's a loss. We don't want to, we don't want to fight a guy coming off of a loss. That's more reason to fight me, I would think. Now, I won the WBA about 3 years ago. I won the WBA Intercontinental in Dubai. After I won it, I didn't fight for a full entire year. I had to vacate the belt because I couldn't get a fight. Nobody wanted to fight me for this belt. So it's just like a guy in my position. What do you do when it's not up to you who you fight or when you fight the fighter you're fighting is up to promoters, is up to managers. So it's just like I'm in a tough position because I'm labeled high risk, low reward, and I'm being avoided by, say, Buatsi, Anthony Yarde, Willie Hutchinson, Lyndon Arthur. There's so many big names out there, so many light heavyweight names that there's no reason I'm not fighting these guys. And I say, if I'm a bum, you can just walk through me, then do it. But there's a reason why I'm not being called. There's a reason why I'm being avoided. Styles make fights, and skills pay the bills, and I got both.
So I got a couple questions. Who's your manager?
Right now, man, my wife is managing me. Until somebody else can come and do a better job, the managers that I do speak to, they're not really making good offers. Nothing that they're making offers is basically like, they can speak for me, but that's about it. So I'm giving you 20% just to make just to shake a hand, and that's it.
Well, I mean, the
I'm not like
20%
yeah.
sounds high, but it would be for their contacts because, I mean, just listening to the story, looking at the record, you're saying that you're being avoided, but it's like if you don't have a manager or a promoter, how could you be avoided?
I've spoken to 10 different managers. They couldn't make a fight happen for me, and these are managers in the UK. If anybody knows me, they know the majority of my career has been based in the UK. That's where my fans are. That's where I sell tickets at. That's where my name is. So I've been speaking to. I spoke to 10 plus managers already in the UK, and they're all telling me, these promoters, they don't want to put their fighter against me. Whether it's Frank Warren, Eddie Hearns, Ben Shalom, or
Yeah, so why not
GBM.
try another region? What's wrong with America? You got Pro Box right there giving people like yourself opportunities left and right. You're at
I didn't hear nothing
68.
from Pro Box either.
I
I'm at
mean,
75. I'm at light heavyweight.
oh, your last fight says 68.
Yeah, that's my last fight, but my first 16 fights were at light heavyweight.
What made you go to the UK? Because you're clearly, by talking to you, you're American, right? Why'd you build a fan base in the UK? How'd that happen?
So I was training with Freddie Roach, and Freddie Roach asked me to go over and train with George Groves. I got George Groves ready to fight Chris Eubank Jr. This was in 2016 maybe. So I went over there, sparred George Groves, did a great job. When I came back, Freddie Roach told me that Eddie Hearns was interested in me. And then Kel Book was in the gym training one day. He was like, I'm going to tell Eddie about you. So they did. I went over there, had my first fight with Matchroom. And then from that point, I built an empire over there, relations with people, just being a people's person, being a people's champ, going to gyms, going to schools, talking, not thinking I'm too good or better than everyone. It's a lot of times for fighters, they get high nose and think they're better than everybody. They can't go and talk to people. They can't answer questions. They can't, hug kids and pop up. So that's what I was doing basically in the UK and created a huge fan base there. And that's what I'm trying to get back to.
So Eddie Hearn is not instrumental. Are you still working with him right now?
No, so in 2019, they cut my contract. It was through email. It was just, it was business. It was nothing personal. But as of right now, it's just like...
They didn't explain why?
I don't want to speak about the specifics, but it's more just, things that was in the contract as far as, we want you if you do A, B, and C, or we don't want you if you do A, B, and C. And just right now in general.
Wait, so you sure it's 2018? You sure the year is 2019 and not 2020 after you suffered your first loss?
That was the year. That was the year I fought. I fought against.
Yeah, no, but you said 2019, so that would make it not the year you lost. And the year
so
you
2020,
lost,
yes, 2020.
the year you lost, you were still with Eddie. So it looks like after the loss, he cut you.
Well, it's 2020, and there's one M in my name.
Huh?
I said 2020. I see my name right here. It's one M in my last name. SMIS.
Oh, he's talking about the on-screen display.
Yeah.
His on screen. I'm sorry. I'm like, yo, what is he talking about? I'm so lost.
No, you fine. I'm looking at it. I'm like, hold up. Who's Anthony Sam? It's not me.
Apologies. But yeah, so it looks like he cut you after the loss, right?
Yeah, he cut me after the loss against Angulo.
Yeah. And, that you got to admit, look, I ain't trying to be the hard guy, but I'm just the realist. You were a heavily touted dude. You had the whole Muhammad Ali thing going for you. You moved like him. Then you lose to a journeyman in Angulo. And Matchroom USA at that time
Angulo wasn't a journeyman. When I fought Angulo had, I think, 32 fights, maybe 36, with 32 knockouts and maybe 2 losses. That's not a journeyman.
I'm pretty sure that you
Pull
gave
up his
him the
record.
name. I know, but I'm pretty sure you gave him his name, champ.
No, I didn't give him his name. Zerto Ramirez gave him his name. Zerto Ramirez made him known. He's a puncher, man. He's a big puncher. Now, after I fought him, then you heard Berlanga fight him and Benavidez fight him and all these other people fight him. But I fought him after Zerto Ramirez.
Yes, you're correct. Zordo fought him in 2018.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, to us, he's a journeyman, champ. He don't have any win on his
What's
resume
the definition?
other than yourself.
What's the definition?
Well, basically,
of
A fighter that's fighting and doesn't get a world title. Like if there's only a certain amount of years you can be a prospect within age and fights. Then you go and you cross over to contender once you fight certain level of opposition. If you never win a world title, you're a journeyman. If you are on the cusp, or let's say you have multiple title shots, you are a gatekeeper because if someone beats you, they get to a title shot. But Angulo's a journeyman, champ. Like his biggest win is you.
I mean, journeyman now, but it's crazy how you guys define journeyman because it's like, to me, a journeyman is a guy you can just walk over. Nah. You got it mistaken. No. Journeyman
No,
I got a mistaken how.
because a journeyman isn't someone you could just walk over. A journeyman is a durable fighter. He's a tough
Yeah,
dude.
journeyman is a
And
guy who
that's-
goes
and
around
that's
and
what
always gives a
Angulo
great
is.
performance, but
Exactly.
usually
That's why
loses.
they call it journeyman. That's why they call it journeyman, because they've been on the journey and everybody whooped their fucking ass. You know what I mean?
Nah.
Usually you put a guy in there like a journeyman. You put a guy in there because you put him in there to get beat up and get him whooped. Let me ask you a question. What's your background in boxing?
I haven't boxed, if that's your answer, if that's your question.
Man, that's a rough one, because it's like your definition of a journeyman, it varies depending on your experience in boxing. The definition of a journeyman to you is a guy who's never fought a title. But if you get in the ring, it's a different title. It's a
No,
different
you
definition of what
misunderstood
a
me.
journeyman
I
is.
didn't say never fought a title. I said never won a title.
Yeah,
Never
even
won a
even
title.
never winning a title. So, for instance, we can go back to Marvin Hagler. People, I guess he's a journeyman up until his 42nd fight, but nobody would ever consider this Marvin Hagler to be a journeyman. So you said someone who's never fought for a title has been fighting, and either a gatekeeper or a journeyman. To me, that's more of like a definition from a book versus actually fighting. You know, brother right here in the middle, you fought before. You know, a guy is a journeyman. You put him in there, you're supposed to beat him.
Well,
No
the
doubts
brother
about
in the middle,
Yeah.
is the one that told you as well that's a journeyman. So, you know,
Well, I mean, I don't
two
see-
fighters having a conversation definitely don't see eye to eye, because he agrees with me on the
Well,
definition of journeyman.
I mean, even with like two fighters, you know, there's caliber of fighters, there's levels you go to, and there's experience you get. Now, I think out of the three, I have the most fights and I have the most experience, and I've been to that level to tell you there's certain journeymen that, you know, it's a real journeyman, and there's a guy that's not a journeyman. When I fought Angulo, he wasn't a journeyman. This was a 50-50 chance because it's a step up.
Champ, I think that
journeyman.
I see that the biggest issue is that you're getting caught up on words, and it doesn't matter. What matters is that you lost to that guy who isn't perceived to be on your level. That's just the bottom line. You were supposed to beat him, and you didn't.
I didn't beat him, but I want to say I'm getting lost up on words, because to you, they're just words. To me, I actually have to fight these people. So I fight to you, they're words. To me, I'm actually in there with these people you call journeymen or gatekeepers or whatever you want to call them. But to you, it's like your perspective will always be that of a fan of this guy's a journeyman, this guy's this, and this guy's that.
Well, I'm saying you're getting caught up on words because you're saying that you're being avoided, but you're coming off a loss and more than a year of inactivity. So
Yes.
and that's why I know the business. That's why my first question was, who's your manager? Your answer was your wife. That right there is the problem. There's only been very few wives in this business that have been able to do it. Bradley's
I've been speaking
and
to
Nonito.
managers, and nobody can give me a fight.
Again, a good manager would have got you a win, because it's harder to get a fight off a loss in a year.
So many good managers, man. Because I'm knocking on all the doors, and they're all telling me the same thing, man. It's a tough cookie. It's hard to get you a fight, Anthony. You know, even though you're coming off a loss, you got 20 knockouts. That's the problem. Looking at this.
I can't believe that. I talk to managers all the time. Like, again, what's wrong with Pro Box? You just made it clear. You made it clear today that you don't fight at 68. So we didn't know that. We didn't know that till today, because your last five.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but your last five say 68. Anthony, you being confrontational. I'm trying to help you here. You feel me?
I'm just talking back and forth with you.
I'm just saying, Pro Box will give you an opportunity, especially at 68. They got Lester Martinez, who they can't get a fight.
I know Lester Martinez, but I'm at light heavyweight. I'm not at 68.
Again, we didn't know that till today with the interview. That's why I wanted to interview, because it's like, I see that your last, 2 fights, was it? Or 4 fights were like at 68. It says you were fighting at 68 since for a minute. Again, you just announced it today. There's not even one at 75, which is another reason. Get a fight in Mexico at least, and because look at Jesse Hart. Jesse Hart took a couple of fights locally in Philadelphia off television with RDR Promotions, and now Jesse's possibly getting a December fight at 175. So your manager has to get you in a fight. It don't matter what's the fight, but coming off a loss is harder than coming off a win. You know that yourself.
I mean, even when I had a win, I couldn't get a fight. So it's like, okay, I got a loss now. Still can't get a fight. What's the difference? I won the WBA Intercontinental in Dubai at 168. A whole year, nothing. And at that time, my wife wasn't my manager. I had
The difference, Anthony, is look at Tevin Farmer. He did the same thing. 3 fights in Philadelphia, got an opportunity with Raymond Murataya on television. Now he's got another opportunity on television again for another shot versus William Cepeda. You have to get active. You know, saying you're being avoided is cool, but fighting and saying that is even better.
Yeah, I was
And
gonna
I'm
say-
saying,
will
I'm
get
saying
I
it
was
from
gonna say-
you will
experience.
get an
though.
opportunity. You will get an opportunity if you get active. There's
Anthony, I was gonna
places.
say,
I'm saying this from
I know it's-
experience. I'm saying this from experience. So even before the Dubai fight, I went and fought a 2-fight deal on PBC to fight Dave Morrell. After the
Okay.
first fight, they ripped it up. Deal to fight Munguia, ripped it up. Deal to fight Pacheco, ripped it up. So it's like
Why'd they rip
I'm
it up?
knocking on all the doors. I'm talking to all the people. This is probably maybe a year ago.
But why are they
He fought
ripping
Eno-
these
Why
contracts
did they rip it up?
Why? Yeah.
Because the more they speak and the more they talk, they realize this isn't a good idea. And they're telling me I need to get more social media followers. I don't have a big enough following. This was when I had 40K followers. Okay, now I'm at almost 80. What's the reasoning now? So they're all telling me the same excuse. You need more followers. You're coming off of a loss. Maybe you should come off a win. So everything that you're saying, it's not that I have a problem
But
with
are
it.
these
I've heard it
questions?
before.
Are these things being said to you because you're asking for a certain amount of money? Because why would
No.
someone just tell you to get more followers
No.
unless you're demanding something?
That's what they're saying. Whether it's Matchroom, whatever, not boxer, but Matchroom. I want to fight Diego Pacheco. I was fine with the purse. Great. I like the purse. It's good numbers. That's what I like. All right. When do we fight? They gave me the date. We're still negotiating. All right. 2 weeks later, I get a call from a matchmaker. We did some thinking about it. We're not going to go that route. What? Because y'all talking, I found out I whooped him in sparring? Or how about I fight Dave Morrell?
Why did they
Two-fight
say
deal.
they didn't want to go
PB's
that route though?
With who?
The one you were just
who?
talking about, the fight that
Diego
why
Pacheco?
did they decide to go against it?
Let me ask you a question. Why wouldn't you fight me? If I'm coming off a loss, I'm easy to beat. What would be the reason why you wouldn't fight me? It's not because
I
of
don't know, I'm
blood.
curious
The
why
only
they did.
the only reason the names you mentioned, you said earlier, Lyndon Arthur, Anthony
Yes.
Yarde. You said one other name I can't remember, escapes me, but the only, Willie
Buatsi.
Hutchinson. You said Willie
Yeah.
Hutchinson and Buatsi. Only reason if I'm any of those names you specifically mentioned, is I'm looking backwards at you, bro. You coming off a loss and inactivity. Buatsi just won an interim title, so he's next up. If the champion don't want to fight him, he gets elevated. Yard's been through the fire with the dudes you want to fight, so if he's gonna look at you backwards. Everybody's looking at you back. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You got to move forward so that they don't look at you like you just sitting. Right
Yeah, I
now,
think
you
you
just
need to
idle.
take some stay busy fights.
He needs
look
to stay busy
spectacular.
fight.
Look spectacular. It only takes a couple
You know how many
fights, man,
times
and
I've
then
done
boom.
stay busy fights? I've done stay busy fights, and nothing came from it. That's the thing. The WBA fight was a stay busy fight. I got a time.
No, I get it. I know it's
Year, no fight.
frustrating, but I think especially coming off the loss, I think that's your best route. Take a couple of those, and look spectacular.
But can you
post
tell
it.
me which one exactly was that? Because BoxRec is no longer rocking with the WBA, so they removed the WBA. So
Wow.
it doesn't show me which fight you fought for the WBA.
It's against. It was against. I can't even think of the guy's name. He's from Argentina.
Perez. Hernan.
Yes.
So you said it didn't lead to nothing, but you fought Hernan in Dubai, and then you fought 3 months later in December at the Armory. So
Yeah.
it did lead to something. It led
It
to
didn't
another
lead to anything. It didn't lead to anything. The fight in December, the fight that I did a few months later in Minnesota, that was a 2-fight deal to fight Dave Morrell. Nothing came of it. So here's the thing. I'm going to keep taking these little tune-up fights and nothing's coming up.
But
That's the thing.
wait. Something did come. You got a 2-fight contract. Yes, it fell apart, but you got the contract. And you fought.
What good is a contract if you're not getting the money off
You
the
got a
contract?
check.
I got the contract and what?
You got one of the checks.
I got a 2-fight deal. The first fight was some bullshit, little tune-up fight money. It was nothing. It was pennies. To get the big 6-figure fight that I wanted with Dave Morrell. That's the reason I signed the contract. So after I get this first fight, this bullshit little penny fight, they rip up the contract. After I point outside the ring and tell Dave Morrell, I'm gonna fuck you up. I get an email a few days later, you know what? The contract, actually, we didn't get nothing. They just told me they weren't gonna do it. Same with Diego Pacheco, talking to Munguia, negotiating with a matchmaker to fight Munguia. He fought another guy named Almago. This is probably a few months ago.
McCallum?
No, he fought a guy named Almago instead
Oh.
of me. I'm the magician, so I was supposed to fight him. Negotiating with the matchmaker. It's not me just talking out my ass. I'm negotiating all the details. I like everything. Okay, great. And I always get a call back. We don't go a different route. We don't think it's a good fit. Why is that? It's not because I'm coming off of a loss. It's not because I haven't been inactive. It's because of what? It's because the 20 knockouts attached to my name. It's a risk. Now, I hear what you're saying about Yarde and Buatsi and Willie. They're fighting. They're making big names. I hear that. But that's not what about boxing is. It's not solely about. As a fan, it is. But as a fighter, styles make fights, whether you got a belt or you don't have a belt. Now, my thing is I'm trying to get back in the mix in the UK. I do understand small fight here, small fight here. But it's like if I keep doing small fights, that's all the fuck I'm going to do for the rest of my life is small fights, small fights, small fights. Now, I lost against Angulo. Can't go back and change that. Shit happens. Had a broken knee when I fought Chelly. Shit happens. But that's what boxing's about. I keep hearing, you're coming off of a loss. You would never heard about Roberto Duran again if he didn't try again after you got knocked out by Tommy Hearns. You wouldn't hear about IQ.
You got to stop doing champ. You got to stop doing this. And Marcos, you're terrible, okay? Because you're supposed to be the fucking historian here. You got to stop bringing up Hall of Fame world champions. Like, you can't say we would have not known Roberto. He was already a champ when he lost, champ.
You wouldn't have heard about him after that, is what I'm saying.
No. See, that's my difference. That's my difference. That's why I say you got the words mixed up. Like, of course we're going to hear about him because he was a champ. Once you're a champ, you're a former champ.
If he would have got knocked out, that would have been the end of his career. You would have heard about him.
Ness, he's just frustrated, man.
No, but it don't work that way. Once you're a champ, you're a former champ. Like Roberto moving up and losing, he still was a champ. So now he's a former champ.
You have a point, but he's just frustrated. That's a frustrating position for him to be in. I get it.
But you can't compare yourself to Hall of Fame legends that are multi-division champions and say, look, I'm going to be forgotten. And he would have been forgotten if he did. No, it's not the same.
No, you see, you're missing it. It's not about if this Hall of Famer loses and then I'm comparing myself to a Hall of Famer. I'm comparing myself to a Hall of Famer in the position of not lost, but getting knocked the fuck out.
Yeah, but it's different. It's different when you listen.
How you gonna tell me you never did it?
Because I'm living this sport, man. Because I'm successful. Because I'm successful in this sport.
Me and him live the sport.
Anthony, I'm successful in this sport because of what I know. Yes. Anthony Joshua just got knocked out, right? Yeah. So does he got to get a tune-up? No, because of his name. He is Roberto Duran. You are not Roberto Duran. If you lose,
I didn't say I was Roberto Duran.
I know you didn't. I'm trying to explain it to you. If you lose, it's not the same as a Hall of Famer losing. Yeah. They're going to get opportunities because they're a Hall of Famer that did lose. Someone is going to look at them as an opportunity. Like, damn, that Hall of Famer just lost. We could get him now.
I'm not talking about them getting opportunities.
What he's saying. What he's saying is, I know you're frustrated, right? I don't blame you, but you do have to just stay busy. That's what you have to do. You have to look impressive doing it, and opportunities will come quickly. They will. I see the way you handle yourself. You got a good social media. You got good skills. Just stay busy. Make that last loss be a thing of the past, and just now have some wins under your belt. And but I know it's frustrating. Trust me, I know. But you can't just throw your hands up in the air like fuck this shit. You gotta just keep fighting.
It's part of the business. But going forward, when I say these examples, right? Of course, Anthony Joshua will get another fight, or Roberto Duran's going to get another fight. I'm not using these examples of me getting another fight. I'm talking about overcoming adversity or going back into the third part or the second phase of your career, which he wouldn't understand, but you know what I'm saying. When you get knocked out or you lose, whether you're a world champion or not, you have to come back and rebuild yourself, right? And if you don't ever get that second chance again, or third chance, nobody's going to see you. So when I mention Roberto Duran or Tommy Hearns or Sugar Ray Leonard, I'm not mentioning them just because they're world champions. If I mention another name, you might not know. But these guys, world champions that lost in a bad way. Whether he lost to Sugar Ray Leonard fighting Roberto Duran with no mas, or Roberto Duran saying no mas. Some people say that's the worst way you can quit, is to just give up like that. Shit happens, but I'm saying is, these brothers lost, and what they do, they have to overcome that. Whether it's a world champion or not, they had to overcome that and go into their second phase of their career. So when I mention myself, I'm supposed to speak of myself as a world champion. I'm not ever supposed to speak of myself, well, I'm not there yet, so I'm going to talk like this. No, I think of myself as one day I can be that. I have the potential to be that. I've won a belt, even though it wasn't a world championship belt. I view myself as a champion. So what do I have to do? I have to look at these world champions that came before me and realize, okay, they overcame their defeats. I'm not saying I'm going to get a big fight like them because of I'm not like them. I don't have a name like them, of course. But I have to follow their shoes. What did they do? They rebuilt themselves. And they
Follow
came back and
Foreman's shoes then. Follow Foreman's shoes
I'm
then.
not following Foreman's shoes.
Rebuild yourself.
Foreman's shoes are different.
Rebuild yourself fighting dudes you're supposed to be fighting to get back up there. You're not just going to sit around and get an opportunity because you want one. God willing you do, but you know it don't work like that. Like, this world ain't perfect. You got to get active. It's just the bottom line.
Hey, Ness, this Anthony Sims Jr.?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Hey, listen, bro. You didn't you come in the crump? Did you not come up in the crump gym?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, you're not about to get no fights, bro. It's hard to get fights for fighters like you with your skill set. I boxed also, and I've noticed that this era of boxing are avoiding the boxers who have an understanding of what the real skill set of boxing and how to actually execute it in the ring.
Yes, sir.
It's going to be very hard for you personally. I'm not saying like you can't fight. It's hard for people with your skill set to give fights, because I was just explaining it when I called in. There's guys who are marketable and there's guys who can fight. Yes. You're not on the, I don't see you on social media. Me and my man Aaron Coley was just asking what happened to you. And I noticed that you're going to be avoided due to your skill set. That's just what that is. And it's going to be very hard for you to get an up and coming champion. You're battle tested. We just got an offer for a fight in another state, my man Aaron, and it was against a known fighter and they turned it down and he got 5 losses. And it's not because he can't fight. You would think that would be a good fight for somebody like him to take on to get back, but they saying no, they not, because you're going to take the money away from the invested guy.
That's the business side of boxing. I'm happy.
That's the real business. It's hard to get. It's even hard to get little journeyman, because they going to say, well, no, you Anthony Sims Jr., you're not going to get. You
that's
can't
why
get
you
that
gotta
to
pay.
Stay busy.
That's why you gotta pay.
So I opened up my own promotion to do a tune-up fight, a fight to get back. Do you know how much a journeyman wants to fight me? That you say journeyman. How much you think a journeyman would take to fight me?
He gonna ask for some money because you're Anthony Sims Jr.
How much though? You know numbers, so how much?
I mean, I can't tell you that. I would say, I know me being you, I ain't paying them no more than $5,000.
That's 20,000 started. That's 20,000 tops. That's what they want. You know why? Do you know why?
Yeah,
you know why they want 20,000? Because
you can't pay somebody 20,000 if you don't have television.
This is what they want. They want 20,000 because of what I'm going to do to them. My last fight, I broke Jack.
Yeah, but that's unrealistic, Anthony. Anthony, that's unrealistic.
It is realistic. That's what they're asking.
There's a lot of matchmakers out there. That's what I'm saying. Like, it just seems like we're going back and forth, bro. Like, I deal with the matchmakers. Like, people come on this show all the time and say they can't get fights, and I give them a number, and they get fights. Like, I promise you, man. I promise you. Like, people have sat here, and then they on Pro Box the next month or so. It's like, you know.
Speaking on what you're talking about, though, brother, like, I used to live with Emmanuel Stewart from, I say from 14 to 13 to 16, I lived off and on with Emmanuel Stewart. I would live in his basement, and from there I would fly and live with Roger Mayweather, my uncle. Live with him. So, Manny used to tell me the same thing. He'd tell me, Sims, a lot of people are going to avoid you. But you know what you do? Just stay at it. A lot of people are going to avoid you, Sims. This is at 14, 15 years old. I'm sparring Miguel Cotto, Dominique Dalton, all these guys, over 300 amateur fights, international, and he's telling me this. I never thought I'd get to a point where fighters would turn down their collar, not because he's coming off of a loss, but because they literally don't want to fight you. Now understand the business side, supply and demand. I got an investment. I'm going to make sure I'm going to keep investing in this fighter. I don't want nobody to come and mess up this investment. That's what we're dealing with now. We're not dealing with, Anthony, you need to go rebuild yourself and sell yourself and you need to go. No, we're dealing with, I'm going to protect my investment. I'm going to keep this guy away from this guy, even though this would be a great fight. You're not going to see no more Chavez and Major Taylor fights. But these fights are happening back to back. Y'all kind of seeing them now. You've seen Errol Spence and T-Bud. Okay, we like that. Or T-Bud and Maginov. You like that. Or Bercoli and this fight coming up with, who's the guy that's trying to put Dubois? Now we're starting to see it, but there's very few, especially in my weight class. You're not going to see a clash of styles that Archibald and Bill, perfect example. Outside of that, you're not going to see it. Why? Because of investment in the business side. And what you're saying as far as go and build yourself, I've done that. I've done that. After the loss, 2019, I've been rebuilding myself to get back to this point. And what happened? I rebuilt myself to get back to this point, but when they called me, I have a fucking broken kneecap. So what I gotta do? Oh, take this fight and try to get him out by the 8th round. Couldn't get him out. Now it's back to the drawing board. Now I'm calling all the names. I'm calling all the managers. I'll do a tune-up fight. That's what y'all want to see me knock out a guy, show what I got, I'll do it. But still, it's the fact is like, I got.
Hey, Sims, 1 second.
Yeah, go ahead,
I would like to say this to you, bro, as a former fighter. Like,
yes, sir.
If you already being avoided, man, listen, don't ever take a fight on an injury, because that is a reason why they can further avoid your boxing ass. Like, come on, bro. You lived in a D. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing. Like,
I had to tell my fighter or one of my guys that you cannot take fights injured, because when you lose, they're not going to come to your defense. We're like, well, no, he was injured. They're going to say, well, why did you fight? And I get it. You be frustrated because you can't get a fight. But at the same time, 20,000 is about right, because at one time they offered me, when I only had 8 fights, to fight Yuri Foreman in New York for 6,500. That doesn't even make sense. That's how the business works. That's the thing. If you take the 6,500, you might have missed out on the extra 12 because the matchmaker gets a budget and then he lowballs you off the rip.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, the only reason I took this fight with
20 racks is about right, Ness, because they're not gonna offer the opponent. They're gonna offer him 5, but they gonna take the 15 off the top.
My dude, but he's saying 20 is what the opponent wanted. It's his show, and he don't got television. He got to set the purse.
Yeah, because at the end of the day,
listen, Cornflake Lamana does this all the time. Did he not get knocked out by Lara? Don't he have another WBA? How many times has he earned the WBA?
Who is this?
Thomas Lamana. He's a 160-pounder. Yeah, I mean, and again,
he's a promoter too, right?
Exactly. He know how to get himself back in position. You can't get in position just asking for it. You gotta show and prove. He gotta show and prove, bro. That's why I said, like, do the George Foreman, do the Sonny Liston, do the Cornflake Lamana. Lamana in another position. He got a title shot with Laura. He got another WBA position. He got another eliminator. The man just keeps winning.
You think that maybe they gave him a title shot because he's beatable?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely,
okay,
but he had to earn that eliminator, and he had to earn that Intercontinental. He had to go through those fights.
Can somebody explain to him, if you have a skill, even if you go and get the title, they're still going to avoid you. So I can go and get a win. I can go and knock a guy out. I'm still going to be avoided because of the business. So what can I do? I got to call out all the guys, got to embarrass them, got to make them want to fight.
No, you got to become the mandatory. You got to become. Earl Spence was avoided. Kell Brook and Eddie Hearn put in 3 petitions to extend that fight.
I've never heard of him.
You never heard of Earl Spence?
No, I've never heard of Thomas Cornflake Lamana.
Oh, yeah, Thomas Lamana. Yeah. He fought for PBC and everything, my brother.
Yeah, never heard of him.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
You could get with him, too. He's a promoter. He might get you a fight. He's a promoter. And a lot of people deal with him too.
Out of Jersey, right?
Yep, out of Jersey.
Yeah. I'm listening. I'm all ears.
Yeah, now I'm texting Pro Box, man. I want to find out that have they ever, had any interest.
I will say though, Ness will get you a scrap.
You said
like they be talking on here so much, Ness has noticed that people be listening. It's only right because they be repeating certain things that they heard only on this show. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like fights have manifested from being on here, and promoters do be coming on here. This is a huge show. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just blessed to even be in the presence. You know what I'm saying? We got Marco, got a good following. I was an actual boxer. And then we got King. I mean, he covers women's boxing also. But these are the things, the reason why I am who I was, and people say I fought bums because I only had 8 fights and I had a detached retina, but I marketed myself. I talk that shit, bro. That's just ass Ness. I didn't even know who Ness was. You gotta put in work with your character, bro. Like Muhammad put it like this. I know you saying you're not these guys, but to be them, you have to take a little piece from them. Muhammad Ali, everybody knew Sonny Liston was a serious man in boxing. Muhammad Ali used to go to his house with a bus full of people and call him out repeatedly until one day in the documentary, Sonny Liston had somebody out there shooting and the police came. And Muhammad Ali was a righteous man in the public. You know what I'm saying? It's Muhammad. But he literally went to Sonny Liston's house repeatedly and called him out. Like, I'm not saying you got a coon. I'm not saying you got a coon. But what I'm saying is you got to talk some shit, bro. And you can scrap that.
That's all I've been doing, man. That's all the fuck
you got to take a tough fight, too. Like Pro Box, they might throw and they ain't going to deal with Lonnie B no more. But you know Lonnie B, right?
Yeah, I heard of him.
So that's their MO. Like, they'll give you a fight, but they going to give you a fight. It's going to be a real fight. You know what I'm saying? Again, they won't deal with Lonnie B because, you know, he left them flat twice for the Lester Martinez fight. But, you know, they give opportunities, man. They give opportunities. And people, look at Angelo Leo. That's what I'm saying, Sims. I'm not trying to argue. I'm just saying it works. I know it might not work for you this time, but third time could be a charm. Angelo Leo.
I did it. That's the thing. I did it 3 times. I've done this shit 3
Champ,
times.
maybe it's the 4th time. Don't get frustrated. Don't give up. Like Angelo Leo. You seen PBC used his ass, took his belt, let Stephen Fulton build a name off him, cut him. He went to Pro Box, got 3 fights in 1 year, 3 fights in 5 months. And then he did what? Got a title opportunity on ESPN, still signed a Pro Box.
What you think about Pro Box purses?
I mean, they not. That's what I see, and this is what I said to you.
No, it's a question.
No, and I'm answering it. I said, are you demanding something? Listen, this is a last stop opportunity, but you know once you there, you're on the main stage because it's YouTube. Everyone sees it. All the promoters watch it. All the matchmakers watch. Everybody's getting a call from there.
Let me ask you a question.
But I don't think the purses are more than 20,000. You lucky if you getting 20. You lucky.
Okay.
You lucky.
Now,
I doubt it.
These contracts, right? Not fighting easy fights. No, you're gonna be in some serious fights for $20,000 fights.
Yeah.
Now, after the first fight, 20,000. Second fight, what's the second purse? Third purse, the third purse. Now, here's the difference between being a fan of boxing and actually being a fighter. After I fight, how do I feel afterwards? How much am I walking away with? How much I'm paying a manager, a head coach? How much did they fund me the money for the camp? How much am I walking away with? I got bills. I got things I got to do afterwards.
40% maybe?
20% to a manager, maybe 10% to a head coach, 5% to what, a cut man third? Now after 20,000.
Damn, you giving a cut man a percent? Cut man got to get a flat rate.
I'm saying, I'm just speaking out the way. You call it your second, your third, whoever. You know, people cut it up differently. I'm just throwing it out there. So this is the difference between being a fan of boxing and being an actual fighter. Now it has to make sense to you and your body so you don't end up like Jared McClellan or Pritchard Cologne, because once I hop in there, I know what I'm risking. I have no problem with it, but it has to make sense. So Pro Box 20,000 against so-and-so, all right, what's the next step? Because to me, I want to be in another PBC situation where we're going to give you a 2-fight deal. You get the first fight, you whoop a motherfucking and crickets afterwards. Yeah, that's what I don't want. So Pro Box want to give me a deal and, hey, fight this guy, we fight this guy, and you get this purse. I'm all open to it. I'm not going in demanding this is what I want. But certain numbers, certain purses, man, a dog shouldn't fight for. Because you're in there risking your life. And after COVID, we can both be honest, and purses numbers dropped dramatically. Because
that's across the board, Anthony. Like the majority, there's only a handful of fighters that actually get real money that they can sustain themselves from, unfortunately.
They can sustain themselves. So it's like, okay, in between, luckily I made the right investments or saved my money, but okay. I had to take this fight with Boxer. Only took it too because it's a 2-fight deal. Only reason I took the fight was because it's a 2-fight deal. You fight Zach Chelly, I know who the fuck he was. I'll fight him. Give me the second fight of the fight I want, the weight I want. Okay, great. What happened? After I lost my fight, my manager dropped the ball. Not so much. I did everything I could do. I trained as hard as I could. I sparred as hard as I could, but I had a broken kneecap. I couldn't bend my knee. No excuses. Shit happens. I want to come back and do it again. But like you said, you know, you go in there injured. Jared Miller, they called him last minute. Jared Miller wasn't 100%, but he went in there and he fought to the best of his ability. When they call your name, you got to answer, and hopefully you get your second opportunity. So it's like, that's where I'm at now. No, everything you're saying, I've been there, done it, still doing it.
But Jarrell went all the way to Colombia. This is what I'm saying. You saying you're doing everything except what they doing, which is staying active. That's just the bottom line. I'll pull it up. He went to Colombia and somewhere. I think he went to Ecuador too. I'll pull it up.
I just believe that if you have a couple spectacular performances and you put it out there, that's the power of the internet these days. At least people will want to see you and it'll build. You know, that's the one thing you can say that wasn't back in the day. That power of the internet, the social media, and I see your social media. You do it pretty well. You know what I'm saying? Get some spectacular performances and just put it out there. Something good will come.
Look, Jarrell fought in Argentina, Buenos Aires. Then he went and fought in Nashville with an 8-9 fighter on my boy TriStar Promotions card. And then he went to Dubai and fought Lucas.
So he can get caught with steroids and be back in the mix. That's crazy. Like, I'm here doing everything.
He put himself in the mix. He put himself in the mix by fighting.
I'm a clean fighter. Never did nothing wrong. Never crossed nobody. Never did nothing foul. And here I am. I'm in a position like I'm a fucking margarito.
Nah, man. You in that position because you sulking, man. You got to get active, bro. Look, you just said how he get a shot. No. You just said how he get a shot and he cheated, bro, because he put himself in position. He's fighting.
Well, I shouldn't have said that because, we be honest, everybody's damn near doping in this business anyway. So everybody damn near juicing. I'm probably the only person that ain't.
Yeah, everybody says that, man. Everybody says that.
I mean, shit. Maybe it's in the water, it's in the chicken, maybe it's in the eggs. Who knows? You know, I know it's in the eggs in the UK with the bins over there, and out here, you know, it's Vasquez, Ustagazi, Canelo. It's just the chicken, though. I think it's the beef.
The chicken, the meat, not the chicken. Is the beef.
It's the beef. It has to be something. It has to be one of those. But it's like as a fighter, it's like my position: 23 wins, 20 knockouts, 2 losses. Doing 5K, 10K fights to try to get back in the mix for a good performance it's not an option for me. It's not because I want to lower myself to them standards. I've done that before just for nothing to come out of it. So it's like, okay, they're going to do a last minute call. I'll be ready. I need to go and do a tune-up fight in the UK on a smaller promotion. I'll do that. But as far as this is where you draw the line at. Once you cross that line, you don't go back over it. Once you go and fight for 5, 10K, that's what they're going to keep offering you because they look at the last price you're offered. So when I went and fought Angulo or when I went and fought in Boxer, I almost made close to 6 figures. I'm not trying to go back and you're going to fight for 5K because you come off of a loss. I know I'm not going to fight for 60, 70,000 off rip. That's understandable. That makes sense. Well, actually, yeah, it did. After being inactive for, a year, Boxer called me, 2-fight deal. But my manager dropped the ball. So as far as the business, I don't feel derailed. I don't feel discouraged. It's part of the business. People are going to avoid me. They're going to use reasons like you said yourself. You're coming off of a loss. You're not inactive. I hope that they sleep on me and give me the chance, give me the shot, because I live to cause a fucking upset. That's what boxing's about. Styles make fights. Outside of the business aspect of boxing, you hope to see certain styles in there, not based off of how many followers he has or who his promoter is, but based off the skill. You want to see certain styles against each other. You want to see a boxer versus a puncher. You want to see a southpaw versus a pressure fighter.
I see why they ripped up that contract though, cause I thought Hot Rod beat Morrell. What about you?
Yeah, so once again, at the end of the day, when it come down to boxing, you get your face punched, and he got 20 knockouts as a classical boxer. Ain't nobody trying to really work with that.
I thought he beat him, man. I felt like Morrell showed that he doesn't have the skill to cut the ring on.
Hey, wait. Say that shit again. Say that shit louder for the motherfuckers not listening because nobody wants to speak on Morrell's skill.
I said that. I said that, man. I said that he showed that night he is probably the least skilled Cuban we got active.
Look, he's only good in Minnesota where you can juice at.
Oh.
And like heavyweight's a different division. Like me at 168, it was fun. But
wait. Go backwards because you fought in Minnesota. So what is it that you've seen that you feel that you can juice in Minnesota? You fought there, so you had to have seen something.
It's not just Minnesota. It's not just Minnesota. It's when you're in your home. They didn't touch him. They didn't.
And you know, and you assuming this though. You know this how?
You said assuming? Oh yeah. You know Senator Bako? You heard of him?
Senator
Bako. He fought David.
Oh yeah. Senator Bako.
Senator's my boy. Senator's the cleanest athlete I know. Straight, narrow man, married, happy brother. He told me for a fact. He said, man, when I fought Morrell, and I sparred all these guys, he was juicing that night. He was juicing. I felt it in his punches. And here's the thing. As fighters, we know when it's a hard punch and when it's something wrong. Something's off. When it's a hard punch, you take it. When some shit's off, you feel it in the back of your head. Somebody hits you, you feel the shit in the back of your head. Like, hold up, wait a minute. Something ain't right. So when he's watching him fight, I was like, I didn't think much of it. But watching him fight Hot Rod made him look like a typical southpaw Cuban fighter. Why? Because the size and the style. Same with Benavidez. Benavidez is a fucking killer. But we didn't see the same Benavidez against Alex. Why? Because now the things that you got working for you aren't there no more. You're not the tallest fighter. You don't have the biggest reach. You're not a weight bully now. Now it's 50-50. So I like the fact that you said that. We've been bumping heads and going back and forth, and this is what the fuck I like because you're speaking what you stand on. That's what I live for. I want you to speak on what you believe. And you believe Morrell looked like shit. I felt it too, but I'm looking around and people looking at me like I'm a hater.
Yeah, they call me a hater too, man. I forgot what fighter though. I was just talking to a fighter 2 days ago, and maybe Hasim Rahman, but a few
Hasim, hey, we was there.
A few fighters feel that he lost and that he didn't look as good as everyone is saying. So, hearing you say that they ripped up a contract, which is a follow-up question, right? Like, I can see them ripping it up because I
can send you the contract. I got it right here. I can send it to you.
I can see them ripping it up because I seen Hot Rod give them all these problems. And Hot Rod is stiffer than you. You're very fluid. You're smoother. So I can see that. But the contract being ripped, can't you just sue? How do you rip up a contract? Isn't that grounds for a lawsuit?
Takes money to sue though.
No, here's a loophole in contracts. When is a promotion contract valid?
You tell me?
Yeah, you tell us.
At what point is a promotion contract valid?
When the person who getting the contract endorses.
That's the fucked up part. Nobody knows. A promotion contract isn't valid until the promoter signs it. So you can sign it, the opponent can sign it, everyone signed the contract, but until the promoter signs it, it's not a valid contract. It don't exist. So the contract that I signed, right? I signed a two-fight contract.
The two-fight contract.
I signed a two-fight deal, right? But those are two. You have to sign on both of those. So one for this fight, like what's it called? What's it called? A fucking bout agreement, right? You have a bout agreement per fight. I signed a two-fight deal. Signed a bout agreement. He didn't sign anything for the second fight, so he doesn't have to do it. He doesn't have to fight me for the second fight.
What?
He didn't sign
two
anything
wet
for
ink
it.
signatures.
You have a lawyer looking over these, right?
You said what?
You have a lawyer that looks over these?
I have a lawyer looked over.
It don't matter if you don't have two wet ink signatures.
Right, but then the lawyer would maybe have informed him, yo, the other guy didn't sign, just so you know.
There's a sense in saying they can terminate the contract.
Damn.
Yeah, so situations like that, but a lot of times, contract isn't valid up until the promoter signs it. And even if he does sign it, contracts don't protect us. It don't protect the person who's signing it. It protects the person who created it.
For sure.
That's how boxing contracts work. And right now,
that's
it's
how
just
all
like
contracts
it's contracts. Right now, it's like I'm not mad at the business. I'm starting to understand the business. What I'm mad about is I'm mad at the fact. I won't say I'm even mad. I'm in the fact of there's too many people in the way to make these fights happen now. Managers speak for me. I've spoken to other managers, have people speaking for me, but even between managers and promoters, so many people in the way to make the fights happen. Now it's like, well, let me talk to this guy to talk to this guy to talk to this guy. It's not as simple as you talking through shit. Or for instance, I hate to use examples, but like I was listening to Mike Tyson talk. And Mike Tyson say, man, the boxing I grew up on is like, shit, if you got a friend who ain't fought in a minute, shit, I'll fight him, put him on the card, feed his family. Like, keep him busy. But that's not a thing anymore. Now it is with some people. Like, I've talked to Aziz. He want to get down. Willie Hutchinson. They want to get down. All these brothers want to fight. We're talking. We're good. We want to fight. But what am I hearing? We don't know if it's a good fit. It's not the fact that these brothers don't want to fight me. I'm actually talking to these brothers. Like, I talk shit on social media, but some of these people have good relationships behind the scenes, like Ali Frazier, to make these fights happen. But there's so many people in the way of making these fights happen. And it's like, you can't tell me, okay, go get another fight. Go do this. I'm still the same. I'm the magician. You still know what you're investing in. You still know what you're about to fight. But it's so many things in the way. And as far as like business, I never go into a room demanding. I went to ISU. I have a business degree in business management. I understand supply and demand. There's certain ways you do things, certain things you need, relations, capital, and need to have the right conversations. When I go into these meetings and I sit here and talk to these people, it's always good. Everything's always fine up until they send you the contract. And that's the thing, like, I don't know if you know, brother, but like boxing, sometimes, boxing money is so dirty, if it wasn't money, you wouldn't touch it. When it comes to boxing, everybody tell you they're going to do the A, B, and C, but it's lies, it's bullshit. Up until you get that contract, it doesn't matter. And that's what we're dealing with in boxing. You're dealing with lies, liars, thieves, and abusers. I'm not talking about managers and promoters, but I'm talking about those gatekeepers. They can put you in the mix, but what you going to do for me? They can throw you on a card, but what you going to do for me? There's nothing for them. They can say your name, but what you going to do for me? And it's just like we reached the point of boxing where that's what it's about. Because when I got into boxing, man, it was like a village raises a child type of environment. I was never alone. If I didn't have one, my brothers did. Even when I go to other countries, when I go to Philly or go to other states, I've never felt this type of boxing that, like, what happened after COVID. It's like boxing completely changed. Like, everybody was just like, closed in and looking at everybody else like, I don't know if let's just worry about us. Fuck him. You know what I'm talking about. As fighters, it's not the same. The business has changed. And I'm trying to change with it. But it's like, what do you do when nobody wants to fight you because of your skill or because of your background? Because I'm a former crunk fighter. Because of the business, I have the perfect record for somebody to go and walk over. I got a great record. I got a great record. That's a great record to put somebody, hey, fighting that guy will send you through the roof. Go ahead and fight him. But that's the thing. I'm not some scoobaroo walk through the park. I'll whoop a motherfucker ass when I got 100%. Angulo fight. I found out I was fighting Angulo 3 weeks before the fucking fight. I didn't know who the fuck I was fighting. And here's the thing. The Angulo fight, a lot of people don't know this. My head coach, he wanted to leave. He left. He left the day before the fight and hopped on a plane, and my bodyguard called him at the airport. He left because I wouldn't make him my manager. He got mad. He said, Anthony, make me your manager. I said, why? He saw my purse of what I was making. He said, make me your manager. I'll take care of you. I said, no, you're a head coach. Like, just chill out. You know what the fuck happened? In the fourth round, I got hit with a punch. I didn't know where the fuck I was at. I said, coach, like, what do I do? He squirted water in my nose and eyes and said, you should have made me your manager, boy.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's what the fuck I dealt with. So everybody, I want you to rewatch the Angulo fight.
What's his name?
I wasn't there. Because I'm fighting my whole fucking corner. I'm fighting my coach. I'm fighting my manager. I'm fighting with everybody before the fight.
Who is that? What's his name?
His name is James fucking Doolin. He's a former pro coach. He trained Greg Page. He trained Aaron Pritchard, both former heavyweight world champions. This motherfucker did this to me. I've known this man since I was 6 years old. He was my cut man, and then when I fired some coaches, I made him my head coach. And this is when I found out you don't put somebody in a position based off your relationship with them. You put them in a position based off their credentials. I thought he could do the job. The day before the fight, he leaves. My bodyguard brings him back. I'm running, I'm making weight. I tell my bodyguard, here, tell coach I made weight. My coach comes back in and he says, tell somebody who gives a fuck. That's what I'm dealing with the day before the fight. So shit happens, man. But it's like, as a fighter, you have to suffer in silence. Nobody knew this shit. I'm going through hell. The biggest fight of my career brought out the most darkest evils within my circle that I could ever imagine. Imagine you fighting, world title fight, biggest fight of your career, and you get hit. You don't know where you're at. I got hit by a real. Angulo's a fucking killer. Angulo's a little remedial. He's a killer. When he went to sign his name, he didn't sign his name. He put an X. That's when I knew I was in for a hard fucking fight.
What?
This nigga motherfucker put an X. He put an X for his
Skull
name.
and crossbows?
So we fought for the WBO Latino title, sorry, because I'm Cuban and African American. So when I get there, I'm already getting a cold shoulder because it's all Spanish speakers and they looking at me all fucked up. Angulo brings in worn down Grant gloves. I'm like, these gloves ain't brand new. What the fuck is going on? I can't really say much because I'm on his show, right? So when you talk about they brought me in to whoop him, this is 50-50, WBO Latino title, all Latinos speaking nothing but Spanish. My Spanish is decent, but I can't understand shit like that. So I'm just sitting around wondering, like, what the fuck is going on? In the corner, my coach squirts water on my nose and eyes, tells me, should have made me your manager, boy. Old country white man from Louisville. You should have made me your manager, boy. And that shit, it's just in my mind each round. I'm just thinking about it. I can't see out my right eye.
Yo.
I'm trying to make sure I make it out that fight.
Do you recall getting an offer from Pro Box?
Yeah, it was against Lester Martinez, but I'm not at 68.
Oh man, I'm about to kick your ass. How you gonna do this to me, bruh?
Do what to you?
We come on. We just was saying you ain't getting no opportunity. I'm out here campaigning that Pro Box will give you an opportunity.
168. I'm not 168. I'm a light heavyweight.
You had to say that though, because when you saying people avoiding you and they offering you fights.
They are. At light heavyweight, that's the way I want to fight. So here's the thing. Just to clear all this up. My first 16, okay, rewind that. I placed bronze at Olympic trials, right? I lost to Marcus Brown. I'm the youngest in the history of Olympic trials to medal. I medaled at 16. I turned 16 like 2 days before the tournament. Type shit, like a few weeks before the tournament. I'm the first person to win the Junior Olympics and then go and compete for the actual Olympic trials. I'm the youngest to ever medal. At 16, I'm knocking out grown-ass men at light heavyweight. Go look it up. I knocked out 4 people in a row and lost to Marcus Brown. First 16 fights, almost all knockouts. My first fight, I didn't beat him. After that, I knocked out everybody at light heavyweight. When I got with Matchroom and these coaches, I switched to 68 because they said it was more marketable. I'm not a natural 68-pounder. Then I'm like, okay, let me go down to 160. Maybe I get fights at that because they kept talking about a fight with Yannick. I'm like, that'd be a great fight. I would like that fight. I go to 160 to fight up in New York, fight that fight with a broken kneecap. They call me to fight Zach Chelly because they see how I look. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take that fight. Give me a 2-fight deal. I'll try to get back up to 168. I couldn't get over 167 pounds when I fought Zach Chelly. So it's just like going up, going down, going up. Fuck that. I'm going to stay at light heavyweight where I'm at my strongest. That's where my knockouts is at. I've been trying to chase names and chase weight classes, and I'm not getting nothing out of it. So I'm like, fuck it. If I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it at light heavyweight. That's where all my power's at. That's why I was going over there sparring Bivol and sparring George Groves and Zerto Ramirez, doing my shit at light heavyweight.
Yeah, losing that weight, that is not I just realized that, like, dealing with my homie who fighter, and he was going down to 54, and he was already vegan at the time, and he
going down as a vegan? Oh hell
and
no.
He was walking around at like 162, so he well, I might as well fight at 154. It ain't easy. But then when you fight and you fight as a contender, that water come out, and now you're not already at 162. It's like you should gotta eat up, and then now when he going back to boxing, he like, no, I'm liable to go up to 168 and get with somebody because I'm already at like in between 160 and 166. And it's always good to feel stronger. And these guys don't be able to fight. It's like you can get a lesser opponent. And then, but when you going down in weight, it is going to affect your performance. Because you might can get to the weight, but you never really performed at it after you rehydrated and then get in a fight and lose the water again. You be dead.
That's the problem. A lot of fighters go through me. I walk around every day about 199, almost 200 pounds. I'm a real light heavyweight. So it's like I had no business being in that shit. But it's like when you get around certain people, you try to make them happy. You believe it.
Yeah, you about Dre's size. Dre Ward about that size. Like that's how he went to heavyweight. Andre Ward, he about 6 feet 6'1", about walk around about 190, 200.
That's 6'1". My arm reach, I got an arm reach of somebody 6'6". My arm reach is 79 inches. That's another reason people don't want to probably fight me. Because on paper, it's not a good matchup. My reach is 79 inches. I want to get in and fuck these motherfuckers up. I just want the chance. But it's like, as a fighter, you believe in a head coach or a manager. to direct you. So they tell you go this way, you're gonna do it. You're not gonna question it, not knowing like well, maybe you really shouldn't do that. So it's just like, you know what? If I'm gonna do this shit, I'm gonna do it the way I know how, which is at light heavyweight. You know, as far as being a slick magician, I kind of put that behind me. Nah, I'm going in with bad intention.
I got the fight for you, champ.
What's up?
I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to get Pro Box to sign it.
Talk to me. Who?
I mean, you know, you might say no because you're gonna be like, oh, you know, what does he bring to the table?
Okay.
Undefeated Najee Lopez, Pro Box fighter. They've been having him since 0-0. He fought Yarde.
You talking about homeboy you got clipped? I'll stop his ass. I'll stop Najee.
You talking about he got clipped by what's my man name that he been wanting to fight Benavidez? That's what you talking about the Argentine dude?
I seen his last fight. He got clipped. Motherfucker ain't got no chin. Najee Lopez got clipped, but he still wanted to fight, right?
Yeah, I mean, damn, no chin.
Okay, yeah. So what? He got clipped. Here's the thing. Look at my fights. You see me? I didn't got rocked, but you never see me on that motherfucking ground. Motherfuckers on there. That nigga's on the ground praying. So here's the thing. Najee Lopez, I'll take that fight. I will fuck you up. Because here's the thing. Everybody looking at my old fights. I got more rematches and more sparring sessions than this motherfucker can ever imagine. So if you want to do that, let's do that. Najee Lopez. Have you on the ground praying again.
That's a perfect short. I'm going to have my editor cut that up. And I'm hitting up Pro Box. I'm asking them would they do it. I don't know that they would. I don't think they would because obviously Najee doesn't have the experience that you have. They would have to really think you ain't where you supposed to be.
This motherfucker got clipped by a pillow. He got clipped by a pillow. The punch he got caught with, you know what I'm talking about. It was
Steven Stumter in the Steven Stumter fight.
What's Steven Stumter's record?
Stumter is 9-1-1.
With how many knockouts?
7 KOs, 9 of them, 9 wins, 7 by KO. So he had a good percentage.
Ask Najee if they want to, you got clipped by somebody with 7. Ask if you want to get clipped by somebody with 20 knockouts. And just know, the guys I knocked out, they didn't fall on my fist.
What do you mean?
They didn't fall on my fist. I went and knocked the motherfuckers out. Like walking and falling on your hand. Like, no, I really went to go get these motherfuckers.
You can talk some shit, I'll tell you that.
I mean, that's what you're supposed to. That's the problem with boxing.
Yeah, you got to.
You know, styles make fucking fights. We want these fights, but what you do when there's too many people in the way? It's like when I watch Joshua Buatsi against Willie. Willie looked good. He just got touched to the body too much.
Hell yeah.
Joshua Buatsi take too many breaks. He take too many breaks. 5th round, you taking a break. 6th round, I'll eat you the fuck up. He don't move
I
noticed. Go ahead, Marco.
Where are you based out of now? Where you live? What state?
I'm in LA. I'm in LA.
In LA. Okay. Go ahead, Troy.
I had noticed Buatsi, like, from watching the highlights, because I barely watch all the fights because Buatsi trained with Verge.
You got to fight. I'm sorry, Troy. Najee has a fight October 9th, but they said maybe sometime in 2025. So obviously they want to see how he look.
But that's sometime in 2025, so sometime like we really don't want that. They don't want that smoke.
I mean, but again, like you say, he coming off the knockdown. They got to see how he look. That's their investment.
Yeah, exactly. But fuck all that. You see what I'm saying? Like, if he that motherfucker, throw him in there with me. If you believe in your guy, I hope you do. I pray you throw him in there.
That's all we've been getting.
That's all I've been getting is we're going, right now it's not a good fight, but 2025 sounds good. That's all the fuck I keep hearing. Damn. That's all I'm hearing.
Do you know a manager by the name of Elliot that deals a lot in Dubai? He's got Chris Eubank.
Hey, you want to know about Elliot?
Damn! Don't tell me he couldn't help you either. Because he helping Eubank and he helping Tevin Farmer. He helping a lot of.
Eubank has done his own.
Yeah, but he got Tevin Farmer. Everything I told you earlier about that's his work.
Tevin Farmer. Hold on, let me finish something. Now, as a fighter,
damn,
you're gonna cut your manager 20-25%, right? Yeah. whatever.
That sounds like a lot to me, man. That sounds like too much to me.
Hold on, it sounds a lot to you, but in UK the standard percentage is 25. That's the most they can charge.
Sheesh.
Right? 25%. Now what happens when they tell you, I'm taking 20%, I'm not investing anything in you, and I'm using your money to pay for your entire camp, for your flights, for your stay, for everything.
So wait, just to be clear, when you say your own money it's coming out your own purse, so he fronts you in advance
It's coming out my pocket on top of the 20%. It's not part of the 20%.
But it's coming out your purse though, right? So he's fronting you to have camp. Purse.
This is not just camp. It's for the fight, to travel to the fight.
And this is Elliot.
This is Elliot. To travel to the fight, for stay, for everything. There's no promise of sponsorships. There's no investment. It's basically, I'm giving you 20% to speak for me, and then I got to pay for everything else on top of that. So next time you look at any of Elliot's fighters outside of Tevin Farmer and Chris Eubanks, they walking away with probably 40% of their check. 30 if that.
That kid Tellus, he's getting Tellus a lot of opportunities. Tellus obviously happy. Renee?
Opportunities are just as good as the paper you sign them on.
No. What I mean by opportunities is that Renee is fighting a lot. He's keeping them active.
Yeah. Wait, how many fights he got?
I'll look it up. I think it's Renee Tellez. He fought a lot on Top Rank.
How many fights he got though?
I'm gonna look it up.
But while you looking up, in the meantime, that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with
23 total, 13 knockouts, 20 wins.
Well, wait.
He's Mexican.
I mean, how many knockouts he got?
13. He's coming off of 3 straight wins right now.
23 wins is not 23 wins and 13 knockouts. That's not too big.
No,
of a risk
20 wins, 13 knockouts, 3 losses.
Yeah, it's not too bad. That's not too bad of a risk. Like, I'll take that. It means he can punch a little bit, but he's not a puncher. You look at somebody with 23 wins and 20 knockouts, it's not a risk you want to take. But back to the percentage part. It shouldn't be like that. It should be like, I give you 20%, but what am I getting out of this 20%? Am I getting sponsorships?
So let me ask you one question. How long ago was that? How long ago was that? Because maybe he got better. Because remember, he got
3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago.
God, really?
3 fucking weeks ago.
Damn, because he got Andrew Tabiti that big fight too with Joseph Hooney.
Man, I know all these cats. It's like the same thing with the money team. It's like, it's the money team, but ain't no money on the team. Like, you're signing for what? You're signing for a name. You're signing for a name at this point. So, okay, you want me to sign with you because you got Chris Eubanks? That's great for Chris, but what the fuck I got to do with me? Nothing. You know what? Fucking, you sign with a fucking shoe company. That's what Nova Sports is. It's a fucking shoe brand. A woman's shoe brand. That's what the fuck I'm signing with? Do I want to be represented by a fucking shoe brand? A woman's shoe brand? You gonna get 20% of my purse and I gotta pay for everything else? What the fuck I look like? That's just backwards. That's slave. That's Mandingo fight.
I got someone that they said that they would make that fight, but this a TV fight. You versus Antoine Lunchman Jones, but they would need TV. They would need TV. It's too expensive for non-TV.
Never heard of it. Yeah, it's a problem I've been getting. You know, I had a few promoters here in LA, big promoters, tell me I would like you in my car, but I'm too expensive, and I didn't even give them a fucking number yet. I didn't open up my mouth. I didn't even say a purse. They would look at me, Sims, we like you, man, but we can't afford you. I'm like, what do you mean? I didn't give you a purse or a number yet. We can't afford you, Sam. So like, when we get our stuff ready and we get some money behind us and we get a TV time, we'll call you. That's what I keep fucking hearing. So it's just like,
you fought a 12-rounder yet?
You said what?
How many 12-rounders you fought?
I haven't been in 12 rounders. I've been 10 rounders.
Oh yeah, see, you at that ground where you a contender, and it's kind of hard to find the right price for the record. And you gonna run into a lot of those kind of managers on that level. Not saying you're not on the level skillfully, but you know what I'm talking about as a boxer, where you kind of like in the mid-tier level of business and you running into the managers were like, well, I know a couple people, but they not about to front no bread because they not the
Well,
real
that's not what I'm asking. I'm not asking for, don't not ask you to front bread. But it's like, okay, if you're gonna manage me, certain things I do need as an athlete.
I mean, you have real assets, not real assets, but have real skill set in the market to where you can get some things done. I'm saying that. But that I'm just using bread as in that manner as you got some relationships. You know what I'm saying, that you're willing to put me in front of. And that's at that level.
That's what it's
I
all
noticed
about, man.
them guys don't be having no real relationships.
Hey, I'm more than happy to sign a contract. My problem isn't loyalty or being with somebody. The issue is, what am I getting once I sign this contract? What am I getting out of this contract? So 20%. If I give you 20% of my purse, at least be able to give me some gear, supplements, and recovery. At least, or a good training camp. That's bare minimum as a professional athlete. That's all I'm asking for. But if I got to front every fucking thing and I'm paying you 20% on top of that, that shit just don't make sense to me. It'll never make sense to me. It won't. How the fuck am I putting in all the work, but you walk away with all the bread? That's backwards. So I just feel like I'm asking for bare minimum. But here's the problem: when you get people to come into the sport that don't know anything about fucking boxing, they try to treat it like a McDonald's brand. No, you got to be hands-on, man to man. You got to be hands-on with everything. You can't treat this like a fucking franchise, and that's the problem. They treat it like a franchise. People get into the business trying to make a quick buck. So it's just like I'm knocking at the right doors. I'm still talking to the right people. I haven't given up. I'm not discouraged. It's just like if I was a soft, sucky motherfucker, I've been fighting right now. So I take pride in motherfuckers being scared of me or waiting. I take pride in Najee knowing I'll whoop his motherfucking ass. I take pride in these motherfuckers knowing I would slump their shit. But the problem is what? Well, how Anthony looked his last fight. If I look like that in my last fight, you fight me.
Marcos Escudero. Heard of him?
Never heard of him.
Common opponent with Najee. Common opponent with Joseph George.
What's his record?
14-12, 14 knockouts. 14 wins, 12 knockouts, 3 losses, 1 by knockout.
Yeah, I forgot too. It depends on the state because a lot of times certain fights won't be cleared to fight me. So like in Indiana, they have a number system. If you're a certain age, you've been knocked out this many times, you have this many fights, you can fight a guy. And California is not like that. They do the whole MRI and do the background of your brain, and they have a system where this guy can fight this guy, or this guy can't fight this guy.
Yes,
so it really depends on the state.
Scudetto resides in Florida. His last fight was also on Pro Box. I'm hitting up Pro Box, and I'm like, since Lopez is busy, maybe you can fight Marcos, who Najee already beat. That sets up the fight for 2025.
Hey man, let's do it because it's just there's no fucking.
Marco, you about to get some work with Sims?
No, the other Marco, Marcos Escudero.
Nah, those days are over for me.
Hey, my whole thing is I want to fight these motherfuckers, but it's just like, who's gonna want to fight me? I ain't get 20 knockouts on accident.
I want the Khalil Cole fight, man. Kevin Rooney. Kevin Rooney.
Hey, Kevin Rooney. Kevin, what's up? Hey, Kevin, that's my boy. Kev, what's up with it?
Let's go. Yeah. That's the fight, man. It's time. It's time, man. It's time.
Matchroom,
Khalil got to step up.
Bring me back, Matchroom. What's up? Hey, I'll fuck up all Frank Warren's fighters. I'll fuck up. Oh, don't get me started on Ben Whitaker's forehead. Woo-wee! Oh, my God.
Yo, boy. But you see Ben Whitaker beating up on dudes you could be beating up on. He's staying busy.
You know what? It's not even that. They're building him. I don't need to be built. They're building him.
But you do need to be built back up. You got to be built back up.
Rebuilt.
Rebuild. There you go.
Rebuild then.
Rebuild.
We know you.
He don't know boxing talk. This man said build back up. He said rebuild.
We know you because we've been watching you, but like there's fans that don't know you that you've been inactive to them.
You're right. You're right. It's a whole new era of boxing fans with this social media shit.
Yeah.
So you're right. It's like, man, it's a lot of motherfuckers don't know who the magician is. They just tapped into boxing for more
Andy, you're related to Floyd?
Unfortunately, yes.
Unfortunately, why unfortunately?
Yeah, he's terrible, man.
I mean,
He came up in a crunk gym.
you
You don't just make a mistake and go there.
who, me?
Yeah, how come unfortunately? Why'd you say
Yeah,
unfortunately?
You
Floyd
talking
from
about the crunk
Michigan.
gym or with Floyd?
No,
Floyd
why'd you
had
say
nothing to do.
unfortunately
So the
you're
crunk
related to
gym
Floyd?
actually happened. Manny Stewart called my mom and was like, I want him to come up here because every year I would fight one of their twins. It was these brothers named Jacob and Joseph Bonas. Cold motherfucking twins. Nasty. Every year I fight one of them at 139. So he was like, come up here, champ. You're gonna stay, we're gonna build you up to 165, and you're gonna win out 165 for us. I'm like, all right. So I went down there banging out with everybody. Went and stayed in Main Stewart's basement, and the motherfuckers took me from 139 to 165, feeding me waffles every day.
Oh, I thought you said you was from Detroit. My bad.
No, I'm from Indianapolis. I'm from
Nah,
Indiana.
he's from Indiana, but did you have a
Yeah.
relationship with Floyd?
I used to live with Floyd too.
Okay. But so I'm assuming you guys aren't really cool right now because he would be able to help you out, get you fights, no?
I can't really talk about nothing on here, man.
Okay.
But, no, he did everything he's supposed to do, man. He let me use his gym. He never charged me to use his gym. You know, Roger Mayweather, though, out of all things, Roger was that light. Everybody needs a Roger Mayweather. If you're lucky enough to meet him, he taught me everything about life, everything about boxing through life. We didn't really have to talk boxing a lot. But that's what real coaches, real trainers know how to talk in similes and metaphors to make you understand it. And that's what Roger did, man. Roger prepared me for life. He prepared me for boxing. Roger is probably, outside of Manny Stewart, the greatest coach I've ever met, hands down. And I'm going to say this right now while I'm on here. Anybody that thought Roger had a drug problem, get that out your fucking head. Roger never did dope. He never drank. You know, anybody that's seen Roger just know that Roger had diabetes and he didn't take his insulin. That's why he looked, a little crazy sometimes. But Roger was sharp, man. Sharp and one of the greatest people I've ever met, one of the funniest, livest, and just boxing historian. And R.I.P. Raj, man, they don't talk about him enough. One of the greatest. Yeah. I mean, you're talking about the fucking Black Mamba, the Mexican assassin. You're talking about a brother who fought Pernell Whitaker and hurt him a little bit.
He had Pernell down and almost out.
He had him hurt, right? Had him hurt.
He dropped him. I think the only man.
Dropped his ass right. Pernell. He dropped.
I did a video on that because Pernell pulled Roger's trunks down.
Yeah, he pulled his trunks down and caught him.
And that pissed Roger off, so he clipped
and he dropped him after that.
Yep.
I mean, he put his pants when he was trying to get his glove fixed with the ref. He ran over and smashed his pants down, and Roger stopped him for it.
Yep.
90 seconds.
A boxing match, and Roger walked in and was like, "Oh, I can't stand this motherfucker." I was like, "What?" He was like, "Well, Pernell motherfucker, I hate that motherfucker. Turn that motherfucking shit off." I'm in there watching him. He sat on the bed with me and was like, if I could do motherfucking things differently, I went to the motherfucker's body more. I'm like, yeah. I'm just listening to Roger. I'm 14 years old. I really didn't understand what I'm sitting here witnessing or sitting here watching them fight Bobby Chacon. Like, I'm sitting here watching them fight these legends. And I was able to, if I could go back in time, man, I would just soak it all up. Or being with Emmanuel Stewart, he taking me, I'm sparring Miguel Cotto at 15 years old. Dropped me to the body. Emmanuel Stewart told me, whatever you do, don't go out there, don't throw no hard jabs. I'm like, all right, man, I'm feeling myself. Boom. Miguel Cotto was like, okay. Wow. Lifted me off the fucking ground and walked off. And I got out the ring and Emmanuel Stewart was like, next time you gonna listen, motherfucker, next time. Right? And after I seen Cotto probably some years later at a wild card, and when we talked about it a little bit, and after that, I always show respect to a man in that ring. Motherfucker dropped me to the body. But just being at Crunk and being around Jay Leon Love, Andy Lee, Dominique Dalton, to be able to say I was trained by the same person who trained Evander Holyfield or Lennox Lewis. But my boxing pedigree goes before that. You ever heard of Marvin Johnson, 3-time light heavyweight champion of the world? Yeah. Okay, so him and his brother was my coach. His brother was the 3-time. His brother was the 88 Olympic coach, Hank Johnson. Trained Ray Mercer, Charles Burley, Evander Holyfield, all those guys. That was my coach until he got prostate cancer, and that's when I ended up going out here to be with Freddie Roach. So my first 16 fights when I was knocking everybody out, that was with the 3-time light heavyweight champion of the world, Marvin Johnson and Hank Johnson. And then when he caught pancreas cancer and prostate cancer, I had to go out here and I found Freddie Roach. So it was like, and Emmanuel Stewart died when I was 16 fighting overseas. in Armenia. It's just like I couldn't get a fucking break when it came to coaches. I'm so close. Got the perfect coach. He died. Manny Stewart died. Roger Mayweather gets sick. I'm like, fuck. Hank Johnson gets pancreas cancer, prostate cancer. I'm like, fuck, can I get a break? I gotta go be with Freddie Roach. So it's just like, man, my boxing pedigree goes from me. I started boxing at the age of 6 years old. Father killed himself. I started boxing a few days later. Like, I was born and bred for this shit. I know nothing else. It's all I do. So when people talk boxing,
you still with Freddie now? Freddie still coaches you?
No. I left Freddie. I left Freddie. I left Freddie my first fight with Matchroom. Unfortunately, Freddie couldn't go with me. I told Freddie I got to fight with Matchroom, and they said I can't go. I'll send an assistant. I'm like, I don't need assistants with me. So I'm like, I got to find somebody who could do the job.
No nonsense Sims, man. No nonsense Sims. I love it.
Hey, man.
You like
Hey, what
shit
type
too.
of coach do you
He
want?
like his shit his way or no way. I can see that right now.
You know
What
what?
type of coach do you like?
Man, actually, man, I have a great coach right now.
Who is he?
I found out. I ain't gonna tell you his name. It's not none of your business. Yet.
Nah, you know why? Because my co-host here seems to think that if your trainer didn't fight, he can never train you to.
Now, I agree with that, but then I disagree. The only reason I disagree is because you have the Eddie Futches, the Customados, the brothers who never fought. You know,
Goosen. You got a couple.
But they taught the essence and the cause and effect of boxing, right? They were teachers. Now you got a whole bunch of fucking coaches. Anybody can scream and yell all fucking day. I don't need that. Especially if you've never done this before, I don't need you screaming and yelling any fucking thing. Some shit you done heard, I don't need that shit. But if you've never done this and you've studied it to a T, and you understand there's a cause and effects, the risk, why I do this. You know, you can Q&A all day. I'm all with that. But that doesn't exist. But the coach I have right now, he's a former heavyweight. He's a Mexican heavyweight. I'm not going to tell you his name.
Chris
But just know
Ariel.
that you said what? I'll tell you his name because he's already on Instagram. His name is Adam Flores. So he used to be a heavyweight. He trained with a lot of the Mexican Cubans back in the 90s, big time. He's a slick, big Mexican heavyweight. 90s boxing. And here's what I need. Whatever game plan we have, whatever we're working on, we practice it to it's perfect. But here's the thing, practice don't make perfect, practice makes permanent. So we practice it right and get it right every fucking day. And that's what I need. I don't need somebody coming in with new fucking ideas and new shit that I've never fucking heard of and I've never seen. Because we've seen a lot of boxing. You can't really recreate boxing. You can adjust it and move it around, but you can't recreate, you can't reinvent the fucking wheel. So it's like, you got me doing these weird exercises. How the fuck is this going to help me in boxing? 1 and 2 and 1, 2, 3. What the fuck is that shit? Like, that's what I'm dealing with these coaches. So it's just like, I need somebody who's experienced.
No, you gotta, you deal with Manny, and I think Manny is damn near one of the people who invented mitt work. And it's like he spent a lot of time on body mechanics, how to land good shots.
Manny will hold hand pads like this. Go watch him. And when you throw a good punch, he would snap his head back to give you the effect that you're really catching him. And his whole thing was
I watched him like that, and that's when I started noticing, like, damn, teaching is different.
Hey, Manny Stewart, hands down the greatest coach I feel like to walk this earth, and this is why. He taught from the feet up. A lot of coaches teach from the hands down. He taught from the feet up. Bad feet, you're dead, man. You got your feet, you got your hands, you got your shoulders, you got your forearms. You got so many ways to protect yourself. Another thing, a lot of fighters carry their hand right here, and they're susceptible for jabs all fucking day. Manny Stewart said you keep it right in front of your face. It's nothing to slide it right to the ear. Right? And something he told me too, pull your socks up and you get blisters. That's why I pull my socks up and I'll tie everything tight. Nothing's supposed to be loose on you. You're supposed to feel like there's nothing on you. That's why crunk trunks and crunk uniforms are so short and tight and small, so you feel like nothing's on you. Nothing over your knee, nothing on your elbow. You feel right and tight. So when Manny, everything Manny taught me, I keep it alive. They still got crunk and shit today, but the crunk that I know no longer exists. That crunk died with Manny years ago. So I try to keep that alive with, just my day to day, how I train, how I approach boxing.
I'm poking the bear. I'm poking the bear. How you gonna say it died when that? I mean, you got Javon Sugar Hill. That's
Sugar
blood.
Hill. I was about to
That's
say Sugar
blood.
Hill.
He got the knowledge poured into him. He was there.
Uh-oh. This isn't gonna go well. No Sugar Hill.
Look at what Sugar Hill did for Tyson Fury.
Sugar Hill could train.
It was Emmanuel that seen the skill in Fury, but it was Sugar Hill that cultivated it.
Did you live with Manny?
Nah,
he was really with him.
But I do tell my story. I do tell my story a lot. That Manny was actually very good to me. To this day, I haven't deleted the number because he was so good to me early on in my career. You know, a lot of people. He opened doors for me in this business because people would see him treat me so nicely. So they just automatically thought they should do it too. So shout out to Emmanuel Stewart.
Manny had that effect. Sugar Hill, he's a good coach for certain people. I'll put it that way. I was fighting the Junior Olympics, and you heard of Montana Love?
Of course.
Okay, so me and Montana Love, we go back. I know I'm about 8 years old. That's my boy, right? So I'm fighting the Junior Olympics, and I'm about to announcing my name. And Montana Love runs up to the ring, and he's like, Junior, your mom just got hit by her car. Her leg is broke. I'm like, what? For real? He's like, yeah, she in bad shape. So in the fight, I'm fighting this motherfucker, but I'm just like, I'm winning, but I'm out of it. I'm like, what the fuck is going on with my mom? Is she good? Shit, I ain't got no daddy. That nigga dead. So like, my mom got hit by a car. Her legs are broken. The fuck you mean her legs are broken? Sugar Hill leaves me in the corner and eating popcorn in the fucking crowd because I didn't do exactly as he said. The second round, he's like, do what I say. I'm done. Like, what do you mean? The motherfucker left me in the corner eating popcorn in the crowd. Now, regardless of what a fighter's going through, I feel like he should never be left in that ring. He just shouldn't. It wasn't the point I'm not listening down to the T, but Sugar Hill's the type of you do it his way or it's done. That's why Sugar Hill's not with Whitaker or certain fighters. You need structure. Nothing wrong with Sugar. Sugar's a good coach for certain people. But just understand this right here is not for everybody. Everybody can't fight this type of style.
Sugar just left you?
Yeah, he left me in the corner.
Damn.
Yeah, so after that, it's just like after that, I don't trust no fucking body. After that, I'm like, I can't trust no motherfucker.
There's been coaches in Ohio and the amateurs. If you don't do what they say at Blackburn Boxing, if you don't do what they say, they'll be like, if you don't do what I say, I'm just gonna stop the fight.
Hey, do that shit in sparring. Don't do that in a fight where somebody can get really hurt. That's where I draw the line.
They really be on that. It's just like,
if you feel like that, throw in the towel. That's the thing. If I'm getting beat the fuck up and not listening, throw in the fucking towel. The fact is, I'm not losing, but I'm just not doing what you say. You just go and walk in the fucking crowd and eat popcorn.
Yeah, they literally be on that.
After that, I don't trust. But I mean, I know all about the Ohio coaches. Cincy, Melville, Adrian Bronner, Coach Levi, Coach Mike Stafford, Two Still. All them cats out of Ohio, Michigan. I've been all across the fucking country sparring motherfuckers, from Philly all the way to Cali. So it's just like a certain respect comes with the sport. And that respect, we know, brothers, is what you're risking when you step inside them ropes. Gerald McClellan, I watch him almost every day. But he's a factor of why, if you can get a motherfucker out there, you get him out of there. Because if he comes back, you can come back and it can be very lethal for you on accident. Preacher Cologne, another one. So that's why I need a coach who takes this shit as serious as I do, because it ain't no ha-ha, he. I talk shit in the gym when I make these videos. When I'm training, I'm working through shit. This is my life. So I need some coaches that ha-ha, he on his fucking phone. That's another thing. Coaches be on their phone all day. These coaches be texting on Instagram, posting pictures. They're not actually worried about the fucking craft. You know what? I had a fucking coach tell me he couldn't come to sparring twice because he was getting a fucking manicure. And this is why I was with Matchroom. This is why I was with Matchroom. He didn't show up because he's getting a fucking manicure. Sometimes he didn't even show up to the runs. I'm getting a massage right now. What the fuck you mean? I'm the one working out. What the fuck you doing? So it's just like, people need to talk about like what the fuck is really going on in this sport versus how it's supposed to be. Let's talk about how it really is. Nobody take their fucking job serious. Everybody want to get paid and not do no fucking work, and everybody want to walk away with the majority of your bread. That's what the fuck we dealing with in this business almost.
Sims, I hate to cut it short, but I got to get to some of these callers, man. I do appreciate you coming on. Let's do it weekly, man. I know you said you want to be on more regularly, and we would love to have you. It looks like the audience definitely enjoys your personality, so we would love to get you back. And, yeah, man, give out your social media for anyone that doesn't know how to follow you can do so.
You can follow me on Instagram, 2_ The Magician. And to all my Latino fans, gracias por todos mis Latinos. Viva Cuba. All my Armenian fans, hey, body, vonse, lavin. Yeah, do lavin vonse. And all my people, you're going to see me. Just because you don't see me don't mean that you don't see me. I got to stay in the shadows before I get the light.
Let's go. All right, champ. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Anthony Sims. We appreciate him coming on. Check him out on social media.